Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday call. For those that are brand new, plugging into today's call, either live or on the recording, just want to welcome you. I want to go through a couple of processes and things of what we do here at the Chamber. Advocacy is a big part, and it's often been said if you are not at the table, you're possibly the menu. And with that being said, many times there are bills that are being introduced that are just not business friendly. With that, our chamber's taken an initiative to invest a lot of resources. And every single week, we bring you updates on specific bills that are being proposed or new ones that just got adopted and what that means to you as a business owner or a top manager, what that impact will be for your business. We are hopeful that we can cover as many things as possible. And with doing that, we've got a tremendous team that we've assembled. I'm going to introduce the person that is our chair of our event. This is a non-paid position. Jeff Miller is a former elected state assembly member who has retired from that. Prior to that, he was our city mayor and a council member. But all the time he was doing that public service stuff, he was running his own business, a very successful insurance brokerage business. Jeff brings a lot of knowledge and understanding from both sides by you being a business owner, understanding how important it is to have laws that limit the restrictions of a business owner so that they can go ahead and take care of paying their employees, paying the electric bill, doing the various things that are necessary. Jeff understands your pain every single day. With Jeff being an elected official, he also was able to use his personality and his persuasion to work with all areas of the spectrum. So it really didn't matter if the initial behind someone's name stood for a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. Jeff really crossed the aisles to make sure that business-friendly legislation was top of the list. With that, we're very fortunate to have him today. Please welcome our chair, Jeff Miller.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Here we go again. Let's get right into it. Today's event is today's event. Bobby, you said I'm chair of today's event, so it's stuck in my head. The sponsor of today's meeting is Eagle Glen Golf Club. You all know Eagle Glen. You've all been to events there. I won't expand on how great they are, but we want to thank them for becoming a sponsor for today's meeting. I'd like to, before I turn it over to Stephanie, I'd like to throw it over to Paul Bender as our chair of the chamber. Hi, Paul Bender. How are you?
Good morning, Jeff. I'm well, thank you. How is everybody else? You good? Good. So just wanted to say, I know we've got announcements in a minute, but I just wanted to say, I know the elephant in the room, everyone is talking about a recession. We could be, and as you know, with the recession, we never know until the quarter's over, right? So we'll know next quarter whether we're actually in one now. And I just wanted to say that having lived through the 2008 and 9 recession, I just want to say I don't think I would have made it through that without the help of the Corona Chamber. And so I encourage everybody to continue to join these calls so that we can arm ourselves with knowledge and information, and that can make all the difference when things aren't as easy in terms of sales and how they used to be, but also because we make connections, and being in business or being in a leadership position in an organization is very lonely, and it enables us to get support from each other and learn new ways of navigating a very uncertain market. So on that note as well, I know we're going to talk about the job fair, but we also know that the labor market has kind of peaked at its height, and now we're seeing a softening. And so that will really help small businesses, anybody with 50 employees or below, because we have been the ones struggling to attract people in terms of wages and benefits. So there are going to be some good things coming out of it as well, as tough as it is personally when you go to the gas pump or the supermarket. So thank you. Continue to be an integral part of our chamber because we are here to support you. Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, great. Thank you, Paul Bender. I appreciate that. Gas pump. Yeah, I just filled up yesterday. My little Toyota Highlander took $110. So it's crazy, just crazy. Before I throw it to Stephanie, I want to thank Peppermint Ridge for jumping on the call. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate all our nonprofits in town. We encourage them to participate in the chamber because there's a whole opportunity for nonprofits to partner with business owners in our community, and they do amazing work in our community and provide services that nobody else can. So thank you, Peppermint Ridge. I also want to throw it over to Annette Dumont from Riverside County Office of Education. She just got a quick announcement.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Jeff. Just wanted to remind everybody, if you didn't know, that tomorrow night, the Corona Norco Assistance League is having their huge fundraiser at the Eagle Glen Golf Course. It's from 5 to 9. And if you don't know what the Assistance League does, it provides clothes and student needs for all of the elementary school students and junior high school students in Corona Norco area. They do all kinds of book clubs and classes, and they supply much needed, sometimes food and clothing and educational items to the area. So your support will be appreciated. And if you have the time, come on by. We'll have a great time. Thank you so much, Jeff.
No problem. And just to let you know, the Assistance League is a member of our chamber.
Yes.
So, Bobby, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to say that they are a brand new member to us. They're starting their own chapter eventually here that will service the Corona Norco area. And Kim Maybon is going to be representing the chamber tomorrow night at the event. And so we're very excited for her to be there. And it's a great program. So if anyone's interested, I thought they had maybe 1 or 2 tickets left, and you may want to check into it. Okay.
Have her come find me.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Kim will look for you. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Stephanie, is this your last meeting with us?
No, it's not.
No, you're stuck with me for a little bit longer.
Okay. All right. Well, I won't cry then. I'd like to turn it over to Vice President of Communications and Events, Stephanie Shapiro.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and good morning, everybody. What I have to share with you today directly lines up with what Paul Bender was talking about recessions and employment and different things. So we are, looking to be on the forefront of that and educating our business community and helping in any way that we can. So we've partnered with the city and Cole Consulting Company. For next week, we're hosting a virtual webinar on attracting and retaining employees. So it's going to cover that and how to improve your employer branding, as well as just becoming an employer of choice. It's 1 hour, it's free to attend, so we highly encourage anybody that's struggling with employment, or even if you think you've got the perfect team put together, you just never know. I think sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, right? So we can always be upskilling ourselves in employee engagement and satisfaction. So we hope that we see you there for that. Next thing I wanted to share about is the Southern California Economic Forecast. We're co-hosting with 3 other chambers of commerce in the Southern California area. We are bringing Dr. Chris Thornburg. He is an economist, and he's also a professor with the University of California at Riverside. And he is spot on with his predictions. He's a very knowledgeable person, and he's going to share with us really about where we're at now, and he's going to break it down in understandable terms for the lay person, as well as what to expect in the weeks and months to come. So highly recommend anybody interested in their purchasing power, the value of their home, what might happen to their business, to attend this. So that's on Friday, July 15th is a luncheon. This is the day where we would normally have our Good Morning Corona meeting, but we're letting you sleep in so you can come to this luncheon instead. So tickets, sponsorships, exhibitor spaces are all available now for that. Next, the week following this economic forecast, we are putting on a job fair. So after you attend that webinar next week about attracting employees and you get some great tips, then you can come set up a booth and meet some great job seekers here in our local market. Our focus in attracting the job seekers to this job fair are people that are commuting currently. So our focus is on living and working locally. There are great, wonderful paying jobs, real careers here in the Inland Empire, and we want to help people with their quality of life, stay local, and invest in the community that they live in. So if you are an employer seeking applicants, we encourage you to sign up, have a booth. It's very inexpensive. You could also sponsor it if you are so inclined. Or if you know somebody who's looking for a job, please share this with them. It's from 9 to 12 on Saturday, July 23rd. Again, since we're hoping to attract those commuters, we felt Saturday morning at the beautiful shops at Dos Lagos would be a great opportunity for them to come meet some employers. All right. And finally, the last thing I wanted to share with you today is about the Riverside County Women's Leadership Conference. It's the 11th annual event, and this year's theme is Take Charge. So we're going to share about how to unleash the superpowers that each attendee has within themselves. That'll be on Thursday, August 25th. We do have tickets on sale, sponsorship opportunities, and exhibitor spaces. So that's all available right now as we speak, and we're currently in the flash sale range. So by this Friday, tickets are still 50% off. So we highly encourage anybody looking to attend to make sure that they take advantage of that special and to get in early on their sponsorships, because that will provide the most marketing of their business. So we hope to see you there. That website that's listed on your screen, mychamber.org/WLC, has a list of all the speakers and their bios. So you'll get to know what to expect from this event. And you can also text the letters WLC, which stands for Women's Leadership Conference, to 71441, and you'll get a link straight to your phone. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Now I'd like to pass it over to Anthony.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. For all of those who attended our Good Morning Corona last Friday, you saw our ELR class of 2022 graduate, and we are already accepting applications for the class of 22-23. Applications are closing on July 22nd. This is a program near and dear to my heart. I really enjoy seeing all these business leaders and community leaders get together that are from this community and really grow their relationships, help them to really understand the community a little bit better, grow those relationships, like I just said, and really impact the community with their community project. So all of those who are interested in applying for our new ELR program, we are revamping it a little bit. Please see me, send me a message, or go to bit.ly/ELR apply, and you can get those applications and turn those into me. And with that, I would like to pass it on over to Bobby just for a second. Bobby?
So everyone has heard that Jeff mentioned that is Stephanie's last meeting or the call, and no, it's not. However, Stephanie will be leaving the California area to her new home in Tennessee, and we're doing a little celebration for her that all of you are invited to, and it's on your screen right now. And we would ask that you would RSVP. There is no charge to attend this, but if you could by the 27th, do the bit.ly/Tennessee bound, case sensitive. The T is capitalized and the B is capitalized, and it's in your chat right now. We just want Stephanie to realize and know just how much we love and appreciate her. This is not a goodbye. This is just a good luck, and we will be able to go visit her. She's got a brand new home that's being built, and she says that she's got room for us all to come and visit, provided we stagger the visits. So with that, we would really appreciate all of you registering on in, and we'd love to see you there. Back to you, Anthony and Jeff.
Hey. Anthony, anything else?
Nope, that is all. Back to you, Jeff.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Stephanie. Let's get right into the meat of the matter. We've got a lot of moving pieces going on in Sacramento. And as always, we appreciate getting updates from all the work that Jeff Gibson does in Sacramento for us. And I'm going to turn it over to him. Jeff owns Occidental Communications Group. For the past 35 years, he has specialized in areas of political consulting and campaigns and government affairs, government relations. He has specialized in areas of transportation, housing, education, the environment, was the author of Jessica's Law back in 2006 that almost 90% of the voters passed and approved. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Jeff.
Ta-da. Hey, as we were talking about recession, and definitely Paul Bender, I appreciate your comments and everyone's comments. The head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, just testified before the U.S. Senate that there is 100% likelihood that we are in a recession, and so and that Fed policy was the primary mover behind that, along with the American Rescue Plan. So we've added another explanation of that in a slide for you, and wanted to talk about two bills, one that we'll be taking a position on today, or announcing a position on today, and one that gets into a bill that we've been doing a lot of work on. So the first is SB 1410, which is by Senator Caballero, a Democrat from Salinas, which is going to be reprioritizing state grants based upon communities' capability of showing that they have taken a proactive approach to reducing vehicle miles traveled within their communities. We prepared Corona for this 5 years ago, starting in 2017 with the inaction of the Corona 2020 program. And we are ahead of literally every other community in the state on this. We enacted this following the announcement from the state that this was going to be coming over a period of years. As we said at the time, it is very clear to us, based upon how state policy is written and how those bills were written, that communities that were engaged in the process, like we are engaged in here, were going to be advantaged. And sure enough, yes, they are advantaged. And we also have the advantage of having 2,500 additional jobs in the community, along with 650,000 hours and counting of unnecessary traffic saved. And so that is something that we can point to as being completely and totally available specifically to us and only us within the community of Corona. So happy to take any questions about that. The bill passed out of the state Senate 39-0. And so it is over in the Assembly, where it is very likely to continue to move forward on a bipartisan basis, because the legislature has decided on this issue several different times. Happy to take any questions that you may have.
I should note for the record, Jeff, we don't oppose every bill. So here's a bill that we're supporting.
Yes, and we take it very, and we very rarely take positions on bills. We track every single bill before the legislature, of which there are about 1,700. We track every regulation that is moving through the regulatory process, of which there's about 13,000. And we take positions on bills that we can specifically be helpful in either passing or defeating. And with that, we're going to get into AB 2840, which this morning was delayed in committee in the Senate Governance and Finance Committee. This is a bill that would, as we've discussed, the author's intent was to eliminate the construction of distribution centers within the state, now Riverside and San Bernardino counties. But in reality, the effect that we here on this call first identified and through letters from the Corona Chamber, from Supervisor Spiegel, and from the Association of Western Employers, identified for the legislature, which they are now considering, that there are hundreds of smart manufacturers in Riverside and San Bernardino counties that were attracted here to manufacture goods within the South Coast Air Quality Management Basin, which is what we live in, and the Mojave Air Quality Management Basin, which is the high desert. They were attracted there by the ability to build large footprint buildings competitively in the state of California that deal with all of our environmental standards and all of our other standards, while taking advantage of infrastructure like the ports, like the freeways, like the rail we have. And at any given time, maybe 70,000 square feet of manufacturing and 30,000 square feet of distribution warehouse type work, or 70,000 warehouse distribution type work and 30,000 square feet of manufacturing. Under this bill, they could have zero distribution center. They would either be a distribution center or they would be a manufacturer. So the author of the bill, Assembly Majority Leader Eloise Reyes, has been working with us in a very large coalition of which we are a leader. That includes everybody from the California Chamber of Commerce to the unions that are highly involved with this. One of the things that people don't realize are that 80% of distribution center jobs are already unionized. So, there's a very wide coalition of people that are very concerned. Our approach to this has been to eliminate the bill completely. We've had a great deal of success with it, and happy to have any discussion that answer any questions.
If I would just put out there, if folks can still call the committee members' offices to register their opposition, that would be helpful. I know SJ, who is on the call today, got 20 to 30 of her friends to make those phone calls. So thank you, SJ, for your efforts on this.
So if people are interested in making the phone call, they should be calling Senator Jim Nielsen exclusively. He's a Republican from Chico. The other four members who are part of the majority are we have people assigned. When you're thinking about how you're going to be communicating to people, you want to make sure that you're communicating a message that given the very short period of time, that people are ready to hear. And so we have thousands of people contacting the Democrats on the committee to say, to give them a message on how important it is to defeat this piece of legislation. The Republican on the committee, Senator Jim Nielsen, is a reliable vote against this piece of legislation, but it can always be helpful to call him and say that that you are thanking him for voting no on the legislation. He has announced that he is not interested in supporting it, and which is very good, because we only need to get to 3. So if you are so inclined to contact someone, contact Senator Jim Nielsen. So that's the status on that. So going on to the next slide, Anthony. So the Center for Economic, for the Bureau of Labor Statistics, along with the National Bureau of Economic Review, has released what is best described as a bombshell report of how the similarly priced PPP jobs plan in 2020 did not ignite inflation, yet the 2021 America Rescue Plan did ignite inflation. And this is an important discussion for people to understand. So this chart explains it very simply. So 85% of Americans work in a private capacity for a private employer, with about 65% of those working for what would be considered a small business. And that's so an average American worker earns about $52,000 to $55,000 a year. And they work for a company that employs 50 or fewer people, most likely. The PPP jobs plan, which was passed in 2020, immediately after the shutdown, to make sure that those jobs stayed in place and were protected, cost roughly $169,000 to $258,000 per job saved. So you can look at that and say, my goodness, that is extremely expensive. What jobs did it save? Well, 85% of the jobs that were saved were the jobs in that first column of private employment jobs, and with the balance of the money going to overhead to get those checks out. So we can obviously have a great deal for someone that is earning $55,000. They're generally paying in between $7,000 and $10,000 a year in taxes. And so what you end up with there is you would essentially need a lifetime of taxes from that person to repay the public investment made in 2020 to maintain their job. So we can have a good debate on whether or not that was worth it. But it did not trigger the massive inflation that we're facing, of which there are 36 categories that the federal government tracks to come up with its inflation number, and 34 of them were up by double digits. And yet we and the two that were not were either even or down by 0.1. And yet we came up with an 8.6% inflation rate, which very few people within the business actually believe. So now moving on to 2021 with the American Rescue Plan, that actually cost $855,000. That's not a typo. That this is from the federal government statistics itself, that it cost $855,000 per job saved, which was also the stated belief of we need to save these jobs. So you ask, okay, what jobs did those save? Those jobs were saved almost exclusively within the national government, state government, and local governments, and which were then banked into some of the massive surpluses that we're looking at nationally, which are now being spent on a number of different programs. Government surpluses usually are a positive, but as you can see, when you spend $855,000 on to save a job, that's substantially different. That's inflationarily different than $170,000, which I'm not very satisfied that it cost us $170,000 to save a $55,000 a year job, but so be it. Obviously, if I had the choice between $855,000 or $170,000, I would choose the $170,000. So, in any case, happy to discuss that or any questions that you may have.
Anthony, anything?
There are no questions in the chat.
Stun us into silence again, Jeff.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.
That's it. All right. Okay. All right. With all due respect, Corona Mayor just jumped on the call. I know he's busy. Let me throw it over to Wes. Wes, how you doing? What's going on?
Hey, Jeff, thanks for reaching out. Sorry, yeah, I think I've said before, I have a conflicting meeting that starts at 10, and sometimes I get lucky and it gets canceled, but today I did not. But it was thankfully not a long one, so that's a good thing. Let's see, I think I just wanted to give us some good news, because we don't get a lot of good news sometimes, but there's SB 1338, which is the care court bill that's moving its way through, and it cleared a couple of pretty major hurdles to get through, and I think it's supposed to be the Assembly Committee on Health. It's going to be there on June 28th. And what that is the Care Court is the ability, it provides the ability for first responders, family members, and hospital folks, mental health experts to commit some of the homeless that really aren't capable of taking care of themselves. I think, frankly, this is one of the pins that we need in order to force some of these people off the street that just are not capable of taking care of themselves. So I'm pretty excited about it myself, and a majority of the mayors in the Inland Empire have signed a joint letter. The city has signed a letter, and we're hoping that it sails through. So far, it's been getting overwhelming support. I know that there's going to be some pushback on some of the cost and some of the social aspects. I think it's 1 no vote this week, and we're hoping that those are few and far between. But other than that, we have a study session this afternoon at 4. We're going to be talking about cannabis tax to put on the ballot, and it's really just a presumptive or just kind of an insurance policy. Right now, we have an agreement with the folks that have cannabis licenses or be issuing cannabis licenses. And right now, we have an agreed upon percentage. However, there's some fuzziness in the law that says this is a tax, it's a use fee. It needs to be ratified by the voters. So I think one of the things we're going to be presenting to the council today is to put that on the ballot to talk about and let the voters have a voice. That's probably it. That's probably the big things. But thanks for the time. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Wes. All right. I think with that, we're going to wrap it up. Adjourn the meeting, move on. Thanks again to Eagle Glen for their sponsorship. I want to thank former mayor, former council member Jason Scott for jumping on the call. Thank you, Jason. And with that, we will adjourn to June 29th. And we'll keep everybody updated as these bills are changing and flipping and flopping, and it's going to be crazy all the way to mid-September when session ends. So with that, have a good week, everybody, and we'll see you on the 29th.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.